47,000 followers and only making $200 a month. How can this be, Jana? It's actually very, very common. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why most influencers are broke, where they're missing the mark, and what to do about it. So let's dig in. Thank you so much for being here. I am Jana Nixa, the Authentic Sales Coach, and I work with entrepreneurs who want to create high-ticket offers and learn a very simple and effective sales process so that they can enroll high-ticket clients consistently. I spent over 2 decades as a top performer in the sales industry, and after 40,000 sales calls, what I can tell you for anyone out there that's like, ugh, sales, is there's an entirely different way to enroll high-ticket clients that is actually the opposite of what you think when you think of sales. So first and foremost, what I see is a lot of influencers go viral, kind of become influencers by accident. And so they have this massive following, but there's really no rhyme or reason to it. So the first thing I want to say is if you are planning on monetizing your audience, and it's not just for fun, you want to make sure that you're talking to a specific type of person that has a specific type of interest and more than likely a specific type of problem. What I see with a lot of these people with these bigger followings is why, yes, they'll get paid for clicks and smaller brand deals, but when it comes to actually making money like you make in the high ticket space and offering something at that level, their audience is just not curated for it. You can go viral with a cat video, but that doesn't mean anybody watching that is the person that's actually going to need what you have to offer. You see the difference? So my first rule here is followers do not equal money in the bank. And it's because we can have people's attention, but if we don't have the right intention, it goes nowhere. So the real truth is you can be entertaining and that's awesome, but are people gonna buy from you? And that's a different skill set. And little known fact, the people that are generally better at that, going viral and just getting a lot of visibility and attention, are generally not as good at the sales piece of the things, and vice versa. Ask me how I know. These are two very different skill sets. And there is a happy medium. And that brings me to number 2. And that is you really want to have a clearly defined sales process. Like I was saying before, if you're going to get visible, go viral, get a bunch of followers, whatever it may be, it would make a lot more sense to have a sales process backing that up so that as people come into your world, you have a way of taking them through the customer buying journey. Most people are not focused on that. They just think if I just get more eyeballs, people will magically buy. That's not how it works. There is a clearly mapped out customer buying journey. And if you're not taking them through that, and for some people that can be as little as hours, and for others that can be as long as months. But if you don't know what that is and you don't know how to take them through it, no, they're not just going to magically hop into whatever it is you have to offer. It just doesn't work that way. I even see it with well-established coaches and even myself included. Like if I'm putting together an offer or some sort of sales event or whatever it may be, and I don't nail it, I can go from a 100K launch to a 0K launch. Like there is method to this madness. And if other coaches are being honest, they know this. Sometimes you hit the mark and sometimes you don't, but most people don't think that. They think you hit the mark by accident, and that is not true. The next thing is you get friend zoned in the sense that you just have fans and people that just like you. But I love my best friend, but I'm not trying to buy anything from her. And so it's, again, really important that there's a level of credibility and authority around a specific topic or set of topics where you establish yourself as a leader in this space. And then again, as we talked about in step 2, leading them through that sales process. If you're just out there making entertaining videos and those sort of things, I love it. My daughter does this and I love it. She's just having fun. And frankly, her views are more than mine many times, but where are they really going and who's really watching? And is it any type of audience that you're curating to buy? Because views and followers and fans do not equal customers or clients. And so it's really important that we understand how to talk to them and what kind of content we're going to put out so that they, again, walk through that customer buying journey. Puppies are really cute and cats are super funny, but that does not create a client. And the last thing is the content itself. So often I hear be consistent and add value. And while that may be true, it really, again, depends on how you're going about sharing value. So often I see people go way too deep into the how around something without really establishing the why and what it is in the first place and why they would even want to know how. When you don't lay these things out properly, and again, bring people through the different levels of awareness in the buyer's journey, they think, oh, wow, what a helpful tip. And they save it to absolutely never return to it later. And that's not what we want. Okay, so now that I talked about some of the biggest pitfalls that I see when it comes to influencers, the biggest misconception, like hear me when I say this, is I have so many business owners that aren't influencers that think that that's the way. I just need to build an audience and they will buy. I just need more visibility and they will buy. Yes, of course you need more eyeballs. People can't buy if they don't know about you, but they won't just buy because they know about you. Here's how you get the attention of a high ticket buyer. First off, you're not speaking to somebody and speaking to all their pain and their lack and their victim mentality. High ticket buyers want you to talk more about the vision and the possibility and the desire. So focus on the payoff and not the process when you're talking about your content or on sales calls. Let the numbers speak for themselves. So often the post that ends up being the one that drives the most traffic and creates the most sales in my business isn't necessarily the most popular one. I'll have clients early on working with me. They're like, well, it's doing well. It's getting a lot of likes and comments. And it's like, is it converting or is anybody moving to the next step? Like you have to focus on the right things and not on popularity. Something else that I think, we're all taught, especially as women, to like be humble, which I think is an incredible quality. Have humility, again, an incredible quality. However, when you're in a place where you're trying to build a platform and have that visibility, like you do need to own it. You want to talk about why you know what you're talking about. You want to own your years of experience and how you earned it and learned it, how it has impacted you and everybody else that's worked with you. As one of my clients put it, she's like, I don't want to brag. And I'm like, but you have to toot your own horn. Like you can't be afraid to own your greatness. This is what builds your authority, because the truth is, if you're in a space that's generating revenue for people, there's going to be others too. So you really have to appeal to why you? Why should I listen to you? What makes you different? Which brings me to another big selling point, and that is your positioning. Why you? Not just because you're an authority in the space, but what makes you different? What makes you different than everything else I've tried? And again, people are so busy trying to be vanilla and trying to play it safe that they forget, like, there's guaranteed a reason you got into what you do and you became an expert at your modality of choice for a reason. And I know, because I've worked with a lot of clients, that you have reasons why you didn't go in a different direction or where you disagree with this person or that person. But you have to understand positioning. Otherwise, if it's all vanilla, I'm going to go find the mint chocolate chip. You know what I mean? And so how can you become the cookie dough and not another vanilla? Bottom line is, and this is where I think so much marketing and content creation misses the mark, is you're always selling. You're selling yourself. You're selling your methodology. You're selling your beliefs. That's what content's supposed to do. Because when you can do that and layer it in a way where it's not like, buy my thing, and it's just selling new ideas, it doesn't feel like selling at all. So to summarize it up, you want to package yourself with that premium positioning, with massive authority on the subject, and really leaning into the what and the why of why they should listen to you and why what you do is different before you go into all the how. Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And all of that is done through your positioning, your authority, your credibility, which leads me to one more point. Don't be afraid to share how you've impacted others. We talked about, tooting your own horn, but anytime a client toots their horn about you, share it with permission, of course. But it's so important for other people. They're not just going to take your word for it anymore. So don't be afraid to, I'm taking screenshots all the time, sometimes several times a day, and popping them into my stories and popping them into posts so that people can see that I am the real deal and that I actually work with my clients and I really care, not just about the results for me, but what's happening for them. That's what I live for this stuff. And at the end of the day, all of this is an energy thing. It's not the words you say, it's who you are when you say them. So truly owning your value and understanding your genius zone and your worth and really taking your seat at the table are paramount above all else. Because if you don't buy into yourself, who else is going to? And it's just like one of my clients, Sarah, her biggest issue was her confidence on sales calls. Like she could get on them, she could book them. She was like a lot of these people who she had the following and she had the leads, but she just couldn't bring them through to that sales process and close. And it had so much to do with her inner game. And then of course, how she was speaking to the right people throughout their customer buying journey in the content. Because when you can do that effectively, by the time they get to the call, she doesn't even have to be good at sales, right? They become buying conversations instead of sales conversations. So that's exactly what we did. We looked at some of her messaging. We really primed and made sure that we were talking to the right person and got them prepared for really what she had to offer, so that by the time she got to the call, she could really just walk them through that authentic sales process and not feel like she's having to sell at all, because that's how it should be. Honestly, full transparency, the biggest thing we had to do was have her own it first, because you are your toughest client. You are your toughest buyer. Once she bought into herself and how incredible she really was, all of these other parts got so much easier. As always, for those of you that know me, you know it's the woo and the do. And that's why so much of the sales stuff that's out there is ineffective. 93% of the communication that we all have is actually nonverbal. And if that's not being addressed or leaned into, then it doesn't matter how good the script, it doesn't matter how good the questions, none of that matters, because internally you're sending and you're putting off a different frequency. So if you want to understand what this sales process can look like for you, from your high ticket energy through your unique positioning so that you're speaking to those premium buyers, all the way through how to get them on a sales call and enroll them with, dare I say, ease. I know it's overused, but it's really true, in a more natural way. I hope you will join us for our upcoming event. All the information is in the description, and I hope I'll see you there. Other than that, please subscribe, send this to somebody else that you know needs to hear it, and we will see you next time.